Well, all right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dowell here. So, now, what am I doing right now? I'm trying to make a video, man. What am I doing right now? Well, I thought that I would make a video to each and every last one of you. Mama came and got him. I thought I'd make a video right now to try to help. I know it's a little bit too late for some of you because I know that you don't have a prepping mindset. And most of you are nowhere near ready for this cold front that came through. Now, I'm making this video hopefully in lieu. It ain't going to take too long to try to help some of you people out in the cities to make some adjustments, especially when you don't have resources like, a wood stove. Because after this, it provided that you did have electricity the whole time. And of course, you all know that when you have electric heat, I can promise you this, if you have never experienced wood heat, there is the difference between night and day concerning wood heat as opposed to electric heat. I promise you it is. The wood heat, it literally goes to the bones and it literally, heats the room and everything. Electric heat is like a cold heat. It keeps at a certain temperature, but it's a cold temperature. But if you're in the cities and if you listen to me any length of time whatsoever at all, I've tried my best to help y'all to prepare, especially for stuff like this. And for those of you who did take my advice and have been listening to me over the years, I'm sure that you're thanking the Father right now that you did. So let's go over a few things. If you're not familiar with flannel sheets, flannel clothing, if you're not familiar with them, it would behoove you to get some. Even in the wintertime, hey, don't even wait on, you don't have to wait for a disaster like this or a cold front like this to come in to where it feels like we're all in the Antarctic. If you would just go and buy you some flannel sheets, put them on when the winter months come, you would not believe the difference. The difference, again, is between night and day. You can put those flannel sheets on and you can go jump in the bed and you're not cold. I mean, the sheets are not cold. It's just a wonderful thing. Wool blankets. And then, of course, if you want to be prepared for, fronts like this, cold fronts to come in, it will behoove you to get you some sleeping bags. Get some sleeping bags, and you may have to pay a little bit, but you know what? If your electricity go out in the house, at least you can veg out in this sleeping bag. And you get you a couple of them sub-zero sleeping bags, man, you would do well. Still, it would also, it would be a lot of money if you try to buy a little buddy and use a little propane system to try to keep the house warm, because this front has been going on 3 days, 4 days now. That can be quite expensive. But you're really getting ready to see expensive when you have to pay these electric bills that's coming up from all this heat that you use. We still have a couple of space heaters around here. We still run them. Also, especially in the wintertime, you may want to get you some humidifiers and put them throughout the house because, it gets really, really dry, especially those of us who have wood stoves. It gets really, really dry. We have literally almost a humidifier, literally in almost every room. We have 2 in the living room and 1 in each bedroom for sure. It just makes all the difference in the world, especially concerning breathing, because if you have a wood stove like we do, it takes a lot of the humidity out of the air, and you need that in the wintertime. We also keep a pot of water on the stove too, and we fill it up 3 times a day because that wood stove is just so efficient and doing so well. Everybody had pipes that froze. Everybody did. But, if you know that this is going to happen, the best thing for you to do is get you a couple of 5-gallon buckets. You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that and go ahead and fill up the buckets in advance. And then when you start sectioning off your rooms in your homes and stuff, the ones that you're not going to use, just store the water in there. Because if you know that the front is going to be here like 3 or 4 days, store water. And most people don't have the luxury of a spring-fed creek like we have out here. We can go get water anytime we want, regardless if the pipes freeze. Then we can stick the water or pan on top of the wood stove and heat it up. If we don't have any electricity, we just have it that way. But you may want to also get a plug and fill up your bathtub. Because, you can still flush the toilet if you get a bucket or like a quarter bucket of water and then pour it after you get finished doing number 1 or 2. You can still flush the toilet. And you don't have to worry. If the pipes are frozen, it will still go down the drain. There's just so many things that you can learn just by moving out the city that if you stayed in the city, none of these stuff would come to mind. And that's the reason why I make these videos, especially in these times like this, so that you'll know what to do and be prepared. Most of you, it's sad to say, it is really truly sad to say, but you've been listening to me for years, and you got snowed in, you got iced in, and you still didn't have any food storage. What I've always said about that, when you have opportunity to prepare and you don't prepare, you talking about selfishness. And I'm going to tell you right now, according to the sentiments of the word of Yah, the word of Yah does not demand or command for us to be benevolent towards those who have a hard heart towards his word, that will not make provisions for themselves. I mean, look at the story of the 5 wise and 5 foolish. I mean, those who have an entitlement mentality or welfare mentality where you think that somebody else ought to cover for your lack. No. And I tell you, a lot of times it's a test for us as Israel. If your brother or sister comes over and they have need, I can understand that. But right now we're in the age of information to where all you have to do is just literally do, and you still don't do. No. That is the heightened sense of selfishness, to not even prepare and then have others people to give up what they have stored and what they have had the ears to hear to listen to in order to provide for you or your family. As Israel, you're not commanded or demanded to do that. As a matter of fact, it's actually a good opportunity to let these people learn obedience by the things that they suffer. Remember the 5 wise and the 5 foolish. They were all getting ready to get prepared for the bridegroom to come. And 5 were wise, went out and bought and had oil in their lamps and had everything they need, all the provisions they need. But 5 were foolish, thought that they didn't need to do anything. And then when it came time for the bridegroom to come, what did the foolish say? The foolish said, hey, give us some of your oil so that we can be prepared and we can go on in just like you. And the wise says, no, you don't know. You know exactly where to go and buy. So go and buy. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came and they still missed out. Some of you need to learn. And this right here was a good learning experience of suffering. And then some of you Israelites who actually, people called over and said, hey, we don't have any food. Can you help us out? Some of you actually found out that your heart is pretty wicked because you actually help provide for them when they're in a ministry to where you know exactly what to do well before any natural disasters or world without rule of law or HTF or anything. You already know what to do, but if you don't do it, you deserve exactly what you get. And there's no better learning lesson than that. Now, I made this video for the people out there in the world that probably first time you ever heard me. I gave you a couple of ideas. Get you some candles, because when electricity go out, you need to have candles. Always have flashlights with batteries in it, or get you some of them headlamps, because your cell phones is going to run out too as well if you don't have nothing to charge in. And then again, like I said, you get these little electric portable things. Like I got one right here. That thing I can probably get, if I wanted to, I can probably get 50 charges out of it. Concerning a cell phone, a laptop, or whatever it is. It's just all about being prepared. It really, truly is. And you don't have to suffer, and you would not suffer like a lot of people are suffering. I'm telling you, there's been a weeping howl. They have said millions upon millions of people are suffering this cold right here. Can you imagine? And I can only imagine when the news really starts, when things unthaw and everybody starts moving around, I can only imagine what the news is going to report about how many people got injured, how many people got stranded, and then even the death toll at that. I mean, it's going to be sad. So, yeah, Pastor Dowell, I talk about things that your churches are not going to talk about. I just don't assume anything that just because we are in civilization right here, that civilization or the government or anybody's going to be benevolent towards us. I try to make sure that we're prepared, because we're not going to be standing on no food lines waiting for government cheese or government milk or some government crackers. We're not going to do that. And how's that going to work for you when you didn't prepare and you got to stand in line for some handouts from the government? Whew. Man, you don't have to do it. All you have to do is pay attention to wise counsel. Remember, One wise man was able to deliver a city by his counsel. Y'all just heard true Straitway. Hope I said something to stimulate thought. Hope you're encouraged. Hope you learned something from this. Y'all be encouraged. King coming.